مشاهدينا الكرام، أهلا ومرحبا بكم في هذه الحلقة من مقابلة خاصة. يسعدنا أن نستضيف في حلقة اليوم الإمبراطورة فرح بهلوي، زوجة شاه إيران السابق محمد رضا بهلوي، وهي تحيي ذكرى رحيله 42 هنا في القاهرة، حيث دفن في مسجد الرفاعي. وبنرحب بجلالتك معنا. Welcome with us your majesty in العربية.
Thank you very much.
منذ 42 عاما منذ رحيل الشاه، ولم تتوقفي يوما عن إحياء ذكراه هنا في القاهرة، حيث دفن في مسجد الرفاعي. وكانت بترافقك في معظم الأحيان صديقتك الراحلة السيدة جيهان السادات. السؤال الآن وبعد 43 عاما من قيام الثورة الإيرانية، كيف يستقبل الشعب الإيراني ذكرى رحيل الشاه؟
What I want to say first is that me and my family and many Iranians, we are grateful to the late President Sadat, to the Egyptian government, and to Mrs. Sadat, and now also to when the whole world did not receive us, we were received in your beautiful country. And I'm also grateful to President El-Sisi, Egyptian government and Egyptian people that I've been able to come all these years to beautiful Egypt and Cairo. I wanted to add that how grateful I am to Egypt and Egyptian people, and also the late President Sadat, because Mrs. Sadat had told me a few years ago when I came here, President Sadat, when President Carter called him, he said to him, Jimmy, I want the Shah here and alive. And after a while, President Carter wanted to talk to him, and President Sadat didn't want to talk to him. He asked Mr. Mubarak to answer. And then I also wanted to be very grateful to the Egyptian people, because when we came here, very foreign journalists came to ask people what they feel. And the Egyptian people in the streets, they said he's welcome and he has helped us during the war. And I wanted to say that I am grateful to the Egyptian people. What I want to say is after 42 years now and 43 years after what happened in Iran, which touches me very much, is that many Iranian people, especially young people, they say slogans like for the Shah, Shahanshah Ruhat Shad, which means your Shahanshah, your spirit, we alive. And there are many, especially young people, they have brainwashed. Most of them now because of internet, because of their parents tell them, and what has happening in Iran, they really respect the memory of the Shah and think of him.
النظام الحالي في إيران، كيف تقيمين الوضع الحالي لهذا النظام؟ إلى أين يتجه؟ ما هي احتمالات سقوط النظام الحالي في إيران؟ وهل من الداخل يمكن أن يسقط هذا النظام؟
Well, you know, I always keep hope. And there is so much misery in Iran. Killing, imprisonment, corruption, and the terrible condition of women in Iran. And there are, as you have heard, demonstrations now in different parts of Iran by teachers, workers, agriculturers, and oil workers, because people, you know, a country so rich like Iran, people, the majority of people have not enough to eat, and they have people to sleep on the graves in the tombs, and the children working, and even some people selling their children. There is a lot of misery, and what I always believe that change will happen from inside, and there is so much corruption of these people. And then Iran, which was a great country with a great civilization, respected by the countries around us, our neighbors and the rest of the world, look what it has become today.
تحدثتي عن المظاهرات، ما مدى قوة هذه الفئات في إحداث تغييرات سياسية في الداخل الإيراني؟
Well, I hope in the future it will make change.
هل تجدين الأوضاع الحالية مشابهة لما كانت عليه قبل عام 79 وبتلك التي أطاحت بشاه إيران؟
Well, there is no comparison because what is happening today in Iran, all these 44 years, I cannot believe all the trouble Iranians have been through and the respect of Iran in the Middle East and the rest of the world. And in Iran, I always say that, you know, countries change government and system, they come, but how could they, I mean, a country like Iran, from Cyrus the Great to come to these people now. And no, there is no comparison about, I don't say we didn't have problems, we didn't have shortcomings, but really it was not, in my point of view, to the point to reach this situation.
هل تتفقين مع ما ذكره الأمير رضا بهلوي بأن الأوضاع الحالية في إيران مشابهة للسنوات الأخيرة في الاتحاد السوفيتي قبل سقوطه؟
Well, there is comparison, of course. And then, no, I agree also because it should happen from inside of Iran.
العودة للاتفاق النووي الإيراني، هل ترين أن امتلاك النظام الحالي في إيران لقوة نووية يمكن أن تشكل تهديد وخطر على دول الجوار وخاصة دول الخليج والمملكة العربية السعودية؟
No, it is dangerous. It's a danger to the Persian Gulf countries, to the Middle East, and it's very dangerous. Personally, I am against any nuclear weapons.
مشاهدينا الكرام، فاصل قصير نعود بعده لاستكمال هذه الحلقة، فابقوا معنا. مشاهدينا الكرام، أهلا ومرحبا بكم في الجزء الثاني من حلقة اليوم، ونستكمل الحوار مع الإمبراطورة فرح بهلوي زوجة شاه إيران السابق محمد رضا بهلوي، وبنستكمل مع حضرتك الحوار. نجلك الأمير رضا بهلوي يعيش الآن في الولايات المتحدة. الولايات المتحدة تخلت عن الشاه عام 79. كيف يمكن أن يقود المعارضة من داخل الولايات المتحدة التي تتفاوض الآن مع النظام الحالي في إيران على برنامجها النووي؟
Well, you know, sometimes we have to take decision which is not in our power. And then what happened from one country to another, my son Reza was studying there, and then he stayed there and he wanted to come to Europe, but it was not possible. But I must say what happened in Iran, I don't say we didn't have problems inside, but it was also with the help of foreign countries, like especially United States, Great Britain and France. They helped this movement to happen. But you know, each country, they are after their own benefit of different things. So they don't care about the system in the country as long as they get what they want. But we hope that there will be enough wise people to understand that this regime in our country now is a danger for peace of Middle East and the area.
هل تدعمين نجلك في المجال أو في قراراته السياسية، وهل تتدخلين في آرائه؟
No, I support what he has done because for now, my God, 43 years he's been fighting for freedom in Iran, and I support him, and many times I ask his opinion when I have to do interviews and say something or another thing because I want to be in his way. And what he says always is that he wants a country with territorial integrity, freedom of women, democracy, human rights, and it's up to the Iranian people to decide what they want.
هل يقدم الأمير رضا بهلوي نفسه على أنه شاه إيران المقبل؟ هل يتمتع بشعبية أو باتفاق الشعب الإيراني الذي يتشكل من مذاهب وأعراق وأيديولوجيات مختلفة؟
What I said exactly is what he feels. He loves his country, his countrymen, and he says up to the Iranian people when they have the freedom, it's up to them to decide what sort of government and regime they want.
ما هو تصورك للنظام القادم في إيران؟ هل هو نظام ملكي ديمقراطي، جمهوري ديمقراطي، أم فيدرالي ديمقراطي؟
Well, you know, I want always to keep my mind in a positive way. I personally, of course, believe in constitutional monarchy, but it's up to the people to decide what they want.
هل تتوقعين عودة الملكية مشابهة لتلك التي كانت عليها أيام الشاه قبل عام 79؟
It will be different because times are different in the world and in the area. And my late husband, His late Majesty, wanted to open up at the end, but we were not, going back, you know, with ifs, like the French say, with ifs you can put Paris in a bottle of water. There are ifs that we think of, but at the end he wanted to open up more, but well, we didn't succeed.
معلوم أن إيران تتشكل من إثنيات ومذاهب مختلفة. ما الحل لهذه التركيبة؟ نظام شديد المركزية كالنظام الحالي وحتى كنظام الشاه، هل يمكن لمثل هذا النظام أن يحكم بصورة عادلة لكل مكونات الشعب الإيراني؟
Yes, I think a monarchy is the father of the nation. And then we had contact with different ethnies, different part of Iran, and Iran must stay in one piece. And I'm of course not happy when I see some countries pushing different part of Iran to separate. But what I hope is Iran to be in one piece and one country.
هل المعارضة الموجودة في الخارج في المنفى قوية بما يسمح لها بأن تغير من النظام الحالي في إيران؟
It's not so much up to the opposition outside, especially in Iran. Strong, I don't know, not strong enough, but there are many groups and they are talking about Iran, the rights in Iran, the condition of people, the condition of women, and hoping that also the important countries support this idea of freedom in Iran. And of course Iranian people, those who are against the regime, are happy that there are some groups outside supporting them.
ما هو الوضع بالنسبة للمرأة الإيرانية؟ كيف سيكون مستقبل المرأة في إيران نظرا لاتساع الحراك النسوي في إيران الآن؟
The future of Iranian women, I believe that they will have freedom. I have to tell you something that I took from internet and I copied it, and it's in my entrance of my apartment in Paris. In Iran, I think even here, when someone is strong, they say it's like a man. And it's written in Persian with the flag of Iran, green, white, and red. If you are a man, come to Iran and become a woman. They are very strong, stronger than the men in Iran, and they show it now under those oppression and dictatorship.
منذ آخر لقاء لنا في عام 2010 حدثت تغييرات كبيرة جدا في المنطقة، ما يسمى الربيع العربي. جماعة الإخوان المسلمين حكمت مصر لمدة عام. هل ترين أي تشابه بين نظام ولاية الفقيه في إيران ونظام الإخوان المسلمين الذي ثار الشعب المصري عليه في 30 من يونيو؟
As you know that in Iran we are Shiites and you are Sunnis and
ولكنها يعني نفس الأيديولوجية.
Ideology is more or less the same. They want to have a religious government.
So you find similarities.
Yeah.
ولكن المصريون ثاروا على هذا النظام.
Thank God. Egypt is such a great country with such a great civilization, and I hope it will always remain peaceful.
مريتي بالكثير من المآسي في حياتك. تركتي العرش، تركتي بلدك إيران، مرض الشاه، وفاة الشاه، وفاة 2 من أبنائك، الأميرة ليلى في 2001، الأمير علي في 2011. يعني بالرغم من كل هذه المآسي بنراك قوية، فما هو سر هذه القوة؟ من أين تستمدين هذه القوة؟
Well, you know, I always wanted to be positive in life and be grateful for what I have. And of course, the tragedies which happened to my family, to myself, was a lot. But, you know, even in those difficult times when His Majesty was alive, although they said so many negative things about him, I knew who he was and I knew who I was, even if the press, for their own reason, were against. And, you know, I wanted to be there for my children, for Reza, for Faranaz, for those who had affection for me, and you know, be grateful for what I have in life. I always wanted to be positive. As you said, it's terrible, the tragedies I had, but I wanted to, you know, think of my compatriots who have suffered so much. And I don't know, maybe it's the way I've been brought up. I was a Girl Scout, maybe. And then to be positive and to be grateful for what I have. And I always think of that. Although, I mean, there are so many miseries in the rest of the world for so many millions of people. When I sleep in my bed peacefully, I thank God. When I eat for lunch and dinner, I think of those people who do not have anything to eat. So that's why it keeps me going on, and inshallah, I hope it will go on.
هل ما زال يراودك الأمل في العودة يوما ما إلى إيران؟
My hope is for Iran to get rid of this regime and have a peaceful democratic regime. Of course, if one day I'm able to go back to my country, it will be a great day.
ما الكلمة التي توجهيها للشعب الإيراني؟
Don't lose hope. Keep hope. Iran has been invaded by many foreign countries, but the Iranians always remain Iranian, and these people, I consider them as also foreigners, not Iranians. So keep hope, although I know that you're suffering so much, that I always say light will overcome the darkness and Iran will rise from her ashes.
الإمبراطورة فرح بهلوي، شكرا على هذه المقابلة، وشكرا لكم مشاهدينا الكرام على حسن المتابعة، وإلى اللقاء.